Hello everybody, my name is NegroVMX. Welcome to my channel, and you're listening to Potato Cast. Been a while since my last Potato Cast, and it is Sunday. I normally would do these on Saturdays. I'm doing this instead of doing a Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus seeded run video because I really wanted to get this out. I didn't get the chance to do it yesterday because some stuff came up. Nothing bad, of course. I might talk about that soon, but I really just wanted to do a Potato Cast because I want to answer all your questions and whatnot, and I also wanted to give you guys updates. But I really want to talk about the main thing here. You guys already know what the topic of this podcast is going to be: how monetization ruined YouTube, and I'm going to talk about that a bit. But before I get to that, let's get to your questions and comments from last update, which was primarily about the situation that my friend Hitomi is in and the situation that her brother is in. And I know, before I even get to your questions and comments, I know a lot of people are wondering, has it gotten better? And the answer is kind of yes and no. We did get an outpouring of support. You guys know I did some videos, cam videos with my phone, where I talked about the crisis where she was very close to being homeless, and thankfully we had an outpouring of support. People did donate, and she was able to pay rent. And then we had really the not being able to afford food. The situation with her brother has gotten worse, and it's getting to the point where I am trying to get anybody I know that's either a lawyer or in law enforcement to get involved in this. My good friend Peyton, as you know, is the co-host of the List Critics. I just spoke with him for quite a while today about this situation, and he's talking to Hitomi as well. So he is now very involved and invested in this situation. And he has a line into some police that might be in the area where these evil women are. And I really don't want to give too many details because I think there's going to be an investigation. I think that they need to be investigated because, believe it or not, they actually did call the police, and believe it, they lied to the police, and they had the police show up at his house not once but twice. He has given them more money since then because he's been intimidated, and it's always, you know, oh, this is the last time, and then when he gives them money and like 2 seconds later, no, I mean 2 seconds, but the next day it's an emergency came up, or we just want to go out, you should send us money. And if you're wondering how they're leeching off of this guy like this and how, you know, how this works, one of them even has a job, so it's kind of crazy. They, you know, she has a job, she makes money, so it's like when it comes to like me and my daughter need food, it's like, well, why don't you pay for it? And the answer is, well, we shouldn't have to. He wants to, you know, spend his money the way that he wants to, not on two evil women that really he wants nothing to do with anymore. He did try to completely block them out. They have made over 50 accounts on Facebook to continue this. Now, there is signs of it improving more recently, as in today, but like I said, I really want to get a lawyer involved. I really want to get so I'm working on that. Hitomi does still need money. I'm not going to go on and on about it. She does need money to pay off for food, and also PayPal is hitting her with fees and whatnot, and that's going to have to be paid soon. And I do know that, like, she hates, I hate when she talks about it, but she's been getting the constant offers of sex for money, and she's actually starting to consider that, which drives me crazy because the whole idea of this was to prevent that from happening. You know, it's just, it happens to be, you know, working against her that she's actually beautiful and sexy and guys want to fuck her. And you know, it's just, it's sad that people are taking advantage, but I just wanted to give you guys a brief update. But let me read your questions and comments here. Oh, that's Chrome. I need Firefox. Here we are. Where's that tab? Here we are. Okay, so Chris Collette, actually Chris Collette posted his own GoFundMe. His GoFundMe, he asked me to promote it. I can't right now because I'm so invested in this one, but he is running a GoFundMe. His father died 2 years ago, and the guy doesn't have a headstone, and they're still stuck with the cost of the funeral. So, you know, contact Chris Collette if you're interested in helping him. He, you know, I really like, I'm so invested in this one. I would love to help you, Chris, but, you know, you know, this girl, like, she could be homeless or selling ass, and I can't have that, you know. Let's move on. The Mass Pineapple says, Oh, this is the guy that, he says, this is the guy that was saying that. I'm not even going to read his comment. I read this already. And I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I really am done with it. This guy, you can use these pseudo-intellectual, and I say pseudo-intellectual because you really don't know what you're talking about, these arguments about statues being history all you want, but really what it is you just want the Confederate statues to be there to intimidate black people. That is the only reason that they ever existed. That is the only reason that they will continue to exist, and that's all I'm going to say about it. He starts off by saying about the response I was expecting. Then why did you bother me then? So you keep saying that it's important to keep these statues up. I'm saying that it's important to not keep them up. And nobody's saying that they should be destroyed. They're saying that they should not be in public spaces like that because they were erected to intimidate people. Dragonheart64 says, #potato, God damn, man. When I looked at the title of the video, I thought, oh, something at least good happened with Hitomi, but I was way off. I can understand why she thinks that people may think, oh, she's just being annoying now, but I really hope that's not the case at all. I can totally see why she has gotten no sleep in a while because of all the fucked up shit that just keeps getting worse and worse. I don't think she's a burden. She's just a girl who's going through a lot and deserves to be able to live a healthy life. When you brought up the situation that's now happening to her brother, I just thought, what the actual fuck? The fact that these nasty, I gotta expand it, old rotten hags would send pictures of their child naked is just, I can't even begin to think of enough names and swears to say about them. And yeah, and I gotta say that that's another reason I think they should be in prison. Just for doing that. That's sick. Necro, I totally agree with you on how he should have or needs to tell these bitches to fuck off and try bringing that blackmail shit to a court. It wouldn't work, and plus the police would get their computers and see pictures of the child anyway, and the two of these bitches need to have their uteruses confiscated from them. I like that. From them both so they can't have more children to harm. One of them's already pregnant, so... yeah. That's just some really fucking gross ass shit right there. What they both did is disgusting. I couldn't agree with you more, Dragonheart. I'm going to continue here. I mean, I understand why he's nervous about the police. I know I'm the same way with them. So him feeling or thinking that way is understandable. I was really hoping there was some good news about Hitomi, but then all the Equifax bullshit happening and the shit that's going on with her brother. Damn, it's just frustrating that this situation keeps getting more and more downhill. Just a question that I was wondering about when the video ended. Do you know why her job is pushed back from November to January? Yes, I do know. I didn't say it, I guess. I thought I did, but it has something to do with construction. So, yeah, I don't have the exact details, but it has something to do with construction. It was going to start in November, but now it's going to be January. Well, I've said all I have to say for now. I do really want to donate, even though times are tough. I'm going to see what I can do, even if it's only $5 here and there, just to try to help out. Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's got to get this PayPal balance paid off, and she needs food. So, yeah, every little bit helps. It really does, and please share the link if you can. And I'll keep spreading the word about her situation to see if I can get some more donations. Hope things really do get better for Hitomi and her brother. I'm out for now, Negro. Well, thank you very much for your comment here. MMZen says, I know we've had differences of opinion politically, but I think you're going to get a lot of heat from other libertarians for not following the non-aggression principle on the Nazi/neo-Confederate issue. In generally, why do you think there seems to be so much overlap with libertarians and MGTOWs? Oh, I think it's men going their own way, /red pillars and Keck bullshit, or maybe that's just my perception. I do think it is your perception because all the libertarians that I interact with think that the men going their own way, the fedora wearers, I think that they fall more into the, we all think they're idiots. I think they fall more into the realm of the anarcho-capitalists, which I think is taking the idea of libertarianism to the absolute extremes. It's kind of like how you have, well, let's use Christianity as an example. You have some Christians that are just completely normal people who, believe in Jesus and God and all that, and then you have the Westboro Baptist Church. They're both technically Christians, but one is, a normal good person who happens to believe a specific thing, and the other are absolute lunatics. So the men going their own way, the red pillars, the alt-right. First of all, so much of what the alt-right is flies in the very face of libertarianism because it is about government control. It is about hegemony. It's about ethno-states. And I don't really want to get too much into the politics of it, but I think that the overlap is a perception. And I think that sometimes a lot of these people, they misuse the word libertarian because they want to be seen as something more socially acceptable than alt-right. And we've all figured out by now that alt-right is a rebranding of Nazism. So I think that now that, you know, they don't want to say alternative right anymore, they want to say something else. So they're trying to co-opt libertarianism. It wouldn't be the first time that that's happened. It won't be the last time. And as for me catching heat from other libertarians for not following the non-aggression principle, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm not part of any political groups. I'm not affiliated with any political party. I'm not registered as a libertarian. You know, I'm an independent whose thoughts and political ideas could best be described as libertarian, but that doesn't mean that I'm associated with the kind of numbskulls online that are the Libertarian Party, you know. I'm not associated with anybody, so I really don't care. You know what I mean? I really, really don't care. The non-aggression principle is something that it's sort of like I don't know if you're a Star Trek fan, but it's sort of like the Prime Directive, where it could be used properly and it could be completely misused as well. And we've seen that many times. And then there's some times where it's absolutely correct to follow it, and there's some times where it's absolutely incorrect to follow it. And libertarianism is about autonomy and making your own decisions, and making the decision of whether or not to punch a Nazi is not something that should be up to somebody else or a principle that somebody came up with. I say fuck Nazis in their bitch faces, they get punched. That's what I say. If somebody else who says that they're a libertarian and they say that we shouldn't punch Nazis because it's just a difference of opinion, they don't understand what Nazism is. They don't understand the true evil. There are certain things that you can't be laissez-faire about, because laissez-faire is non-interference with other political entities. It doesn't, you know, Nazism by its definition is a threatening presence. And we've seen that historically, and we've seen that currently. So just the fact that Nazis are around is, in fact, an act of aggression. Waving a swastika is an act of aggression. Doing the Roman salute is an act of aggression. So punching a Nazi is not a first strike, so to speak, in my opinion. And you're free to disagree with that, and anybody's free to disagree with me, but that's how I feel. And if people want to give me, as you say, a lot of heat, I don't care. Heisensaw, I always enjoy your comments. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, hashtag potato. Oh man. When I first saw there was a big Hotel Me update, my first thought was something good happened. I guess you're not the only one, huh? Dragonheart thought that too. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. If I was able to donate, I sure as hell would, but I'm not able to do that as of right now. You think she's out of the woods, and then this Equifax bullshit happens, and the assholes are extorting her brother, keep getting money out of him. This is heartbreaking. That's exactly the word that I've been using to describe it, Heisensaw. Heartbreaking is absolutely true. You teased about it, but I would love to hear the story about the dark web you mentioned from last time. Oh man, I don't remember what I teased. The dark web can be a very scary... I've never been on the dark web, if that's what you're thinking. Oh, if you mean the story that I heard that I thought was really good and should be a movie, if I find it, man, if I ever find it again, I'll save the link and I'll send it to you or something. This was like last year. I don't really remember. It might have been 2 years ago, actually. It was just a story that I heard was very memorable, but it's not my story or anything. The dark web can be a very scary place, but from what I heard about it, it isn't something the average person could just access and run on their computer. Yeah, that is true. You do need special browsers and whatnot, but and that's why I'm happy to just not be a part of it, because I'm not about to download a bunch of bullshit to access a part of the internet that's going to have a bunch of crap that I don't want to see. So, you know, that's the one really good thing about it, is that you can't stumble onto the dark web, so to speak. As of this posting, I'm really enjoying the Final Fantasy III review. I think you mean Let's Play, but alright. And it got me thinking, out of the first 8 games, which is your favorite, and which do you think is the most overrated? Personally, I like Final Fantasy VI, or 3 as it was known in North America, because I thought it was a really beautiful looking game. I never finished it, but I love the look of it. Personally, I think 7 is very overrated. That seems to be the one that says they love, and turns out they never played any of the games before it. Final Fantasy III that you are currently doing the LP of is a lot more of a slow burn that Pokemon Fire Red was, but I'm still enjoying it. Thanks and take care, Necro. To answer your Final Fantasy question, I definitely think I think the best Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy Tactics, actually. But as you said, the first 8 games, you know, so you're obviously referring to the numbered entries in the main series up to and including 8. I do agree that 6 is the best. 7 is overrated the way that a person might say that blowjobs are overrated. It's still really, really good. And for people who just got into Final Fantasy and they didn't play the first 6, they only played 7. Well, first of all, you have to remember that only 1, 4, and 6 had come out in America anyway before that, So, and it wasn't that much of a success. It was more of a success than most RPGs, the first 3. But 7 was a blockbuster. And that's why 7's so important, because it was the first RPG blockbuster in America. And you can't take that away from it. It being overrated is basically, for me saying it's overrated, and I do agree that it is somewhat overrated, is me saying that it's an 8 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. But that's still really good. I really did not like 8, but I wouldn't say that it's overrated, because 8 is very polarizing and some people like it and a lot of people don't like it. I would say that, that 7 is overrated, but that's not to say that I don't like it. And I never like saying that things are overrated, because whenever I say something is overrated, people say, well, what's wrong with it? Why don't you like it? Just because I think something is overrated doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. And it doesn't mean that I don't like it or that I hate it. I love Final Fantasy VII. I just think that 6 is a better game on pretty much every level. I think that 9 is a better game on pretty much every level. I think that 10 and 12 are better on many levels. But I still think that it's a fantastic game. MMZen again asks, hey, can Hitomi's brother save his own chat logs if these two pieces of shit actually go to the police to show how they're lying and manipulated their own logs? So, Hitomi actually answered you, but apparently they're a little smarter than we gave them credit for, and when they called the police before they did that, they actually temporarily blocked him on Facebook so that he could not access anything. So right now what I want him to do, and I did tell Hitomi that, I haven't told him this directly, but I told her to tell him, he needs to start screenshotting everything, especially anything with threats, but he needs to screenshot everything, because I have a feeling they're going to wind up in a courtroom, and we need to get this resolved. Berserker0001 says, #potato, god damn it all, I'd be so glad when/if I win my disability case, I will donate. Just hearing about the brother getting nailed, the Equifax hack, and other donations are frozen because of it. When it comes to how Hitomi feels, feeling like a burden when she isn't, I feel that on a regular basis, mainly due to having to wait for my hearing. As for the 2 gold-digging harlots, I'd report them to the FBI, especially after one sent nudes of her 5-year-old. You just don't do that, and I hope to all unholy fuck she gets dusted for it. Well, man, you preach it, because I agree with everything that you just said. Red Sea Gaming says, love your urban legends of video games. I wish you would do more of those, or Clearing Confusion, please. Love those videos, too. Man, I love those videos, too, man, and I would love to go back and do, probably not urban legends of video games, but probably like Clearing Confusion or Gamers Encyclopedia. Would love to do them. It's just a matter of having the time to do so. And, my situation when I made those videos compared to my situation now, very, very different. Years have passed, and it's ridiculously time-consuming to make those. That's why they were so good, because so much went into them. But I'm not saying that it's never going to happen, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I just don't know at this point. Ross Edwards says, Christ on a cracker, #potato. I know Hitomi's situation was bad enough, but you describing what's going on with her brother reminds me of how I, too, was scammed hard by a person whom at one point I could have called brother. Nearly 5 years back, he gets sick, can't work, needs help. I think nothing of it. I had money, wasn't using it, so I started helping him out. A bit less than a year later, I'm more than broke, and the requests just don't stop. Day in, day out, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't bring myself to. He just had his 3rd kid and still needed to make ends meet. I didn't even stop giving to Hitomi. Even when he stopped begging, his wife would pick up where he left off, and only after getting angry enough to change my number and cut off all contact only 6 months ago in late March did it end. Luckily, they didn't come to my house. I suppose they decided that their friend was finally tired of being an ATM. It is only now in the recent months that I now have the money to finally not only live comfortably, that I can actually begin paying off the massive debt I accumulated and not have to rely so much on credit. Once again, I give, and I hope Hitomi and her brother's stories have a happy ending. And and Hitomi actually answered you, but I want to comment on this. It sounds similar, and I think that when you help somebody out, I think that, like, if it happens over the long term, some people, not everybody, but some people get it in their head that you're now obligated to do it for the rest of your life. And really, this is how this situation started with her brother, and it started because they asked for money, and he gave it to them. And it became a thing where eventually it's like, okay, enough already. And they didn't want to hear that. They got abusive. And it's like they feel that they're entitled to this money because they sent him nude pictures, which was their choice and happened after he sent them money. He never asked for it. It's a ridiculous situation, but they feel now that he's under an obligation to support them and the one that has a daughter. And that's just ridiculous because it's not his kid and it's not his responsibility. But they're making him feel like it is, with the constant guilt trip and the constant barrage of insults and threats and guilt tripping. It's just bullshit. All right, Alex left me a bunch of comments. I'm actually not going to read them because me and Alex got into it on Facebook, and this happened right when I was getting really sick. I was really sick for like a week, and I'm feeling better now, of course, but this was happening right when I was starting to get sick, and it wrecked me, the whole thing, and then the whole Hitomi shit was happening, and I just can't deal with you right now, Alex, so I'm sorry. The Anime Fan says, "Fuck Nazi. I wounded what German thinks of us." Dude, I think you got to. I don't know. I'm starting to think that the Anime Fans is just getting auto-corrected every other word because it's not. There's no typos. It's just wrong words. I think he means "I wonder what Germany thinks of us," because they probably think of American. I think he means America as a-holes/shitheads. I've talked to numerous German people, and they don't think that necessarily. I mean, German people are pretty great. Overall, actually, I think that they look at this and they're probably thinking like, hey, this happened to us, don't let it happen to America too. So that, but let's answer your questions. Question 1, if there was a point where we got Marvel zombie movie universe spinoff of the MCU, who do you think would start it? I don't know if they would do that. I don't think it's that interesting, really, to be honest. I don't know who would start it. I really don't know. Question 2, what your opinions so far on the new season of South Park? Loving it. Absolutely hilarious. And question 3, any thoughts on what SJWs are complaining about Marvel recently? I'm not aware of any social justice issues with Marvel. I don't really worry about that stuff too much. I have my own opinions on, what is just and what is not. I haven't heard anything about that, and I don't have any thoughts on it, sorry to say. All right. And finally, the Moogle Master says, hashtag PotatoCast, Final Fantasy Legend nowadays is really wonky. I kind of figured. Trying it today is very weird and frustrating. Trust me, you should try it out again, and you will see what I mean. Or maybe I shouldn't, but maybe I will. I agree with the NES Final Fantasy is very broken. I could believe the Juggalos had more people at the rally than the Trump supporters. I heard that the Trump rally wasn't much of anything, and the Juggalo rally was much bigger, but it also, they weren't successful, so. Did you see James Rolfe's list of movies he doesn't care for? Because I was going to send it in for list critics. I need to send in more lists. And will Tanya ever return? Okay, I'm going to answer the last question first, especially since Tanya really just answered you, but Tanya's just, like, really busy, and that's why she's not currently hosting list critics. She actually did an episode with me not too long ago, and the fucking thing didn't record. And that drives me crazy because I thought it was a really good episode and it was really funny. There were a lot of great jokes and whatnot. And Payton was unavailable, and I asked Tanya because she currently was available, and we did like a nice episode. It wasn't a long one, but it was a really funny one. And then we were done, and not a bit of it was recorded because my recording software at some point had crashed and nothing got recorded. So, yeah, that just sucks, you know. As for the James, I actually, like, started watching it. Like, I saw, like, the first entry, and then, like, I had to stop watching it for some reason. I never got to go back. So, actually, yeah, send it in for List Critics. I would love to do that. It'll probably be on List Critics, too. So anyway, I'm actually going to pause very briefly, and I'll come back. It'll be 1 second for you, but I really got to pee. And then we're going to talk about how monetization ruined YouTube. That's the main topic of the day. So I'll be right back, guys. And I'm back. All right, so I want to talk about this topic because it's a topic that I think a lot of people are just afraid to come out and just say it. The problems with YouTube right now have been going on for a long time. And I got to tell you, I want to go back and kind of do the history of YouTube as I see it, kind of thing. YouTube started in, I believe, late 2005, but most of us became first aware of it in 2006. And let me tell you, there were sites like YouTube in the sense of a lot of sites that had a lot of video content on it, you know. And there were sites like Newgrounds where it had a lot of creator, people who had their own pages on there, and they could be content creators. And Newgrounds was huge. YouTube pretty much ended it. It's still around, but it's not relevant and hasn't been in a very long time. But that was like the biggest thing then. And YouTube came around at pretty much the perfect time because 2006, and I know it started in 2005, but 2006, it was the first time that most people had good enough internet to do streaming video. And here's this site that, you could stream video and it was in pretty good quality. It was, like it maxed at like 480p, which at the time was the highest definition available. And, and you could just make an account for free and be able to upload your own videos, and yeah, there was restrictions. There was, the videos could only be 10 minutes long, but it was a very simple website and a simple idea and a great idea, I think, that blossomed and grew over time. I first made a YouTube account in 2006. I didn't start uploading videos until 2009. All right. And I just want to say, because I've seen this, and I've talked with a lot of people about this, other YouTubers, especially Hitomi, because she has a lot of the same thoughts that I do about YouTube. And why monetization ruined it, killed it. And not killed it in the sense that it doesn't exist anymore, because obviously you're on YouTube right now, and YouTube is bigger than ever, but it's not the bastion of creativity and freedom that it once was. Now, I'm not trying to talk about, things that you could say that you back then that you can't say now and that kind of thing, because that happens as any platform grows. It does become more of a thing where you want to conform to certain societal standards, and I fully understand that. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the fact that if you want your videos to be seen by anybody, you have to be a certain type of person. You have to be a career YouTuber, and there never, ever should have been a such thing as a career YouTuber. Anybody who considers themselves to be a career YouTuber, I consider to be an asshole. All right? I follow many YouTubers who make many, many videos, and all the ones that I consider to be good have jobs. YouTube is not a job, and it never should have been a job. And I talked about this a little bit when I did the McJuggernuggets expose, and I talked about him, and his character of the Psycho Kid and his the real Jesse as well, trying to make YouTube a career. And you can kind of admire it in a sense that he for several years did a reality show with his family that had an overarching storyline, but the thing is, like, he claims to have created that kind of thing. I mean, we had that back in the day. It was Lonely Girl 15, that kind of thing, where her vlogs, eventually became a whole thing where there was a story and troubles with her family, and the destruction stuff is, I mean, Angry Grandpa did it first, Waffle Pone did it first, so, it's nothing new. I know he likes to claim that he's such a creator and that he's done things in either first or in a better way, but I don't really buy it. But what bugs me about it is that if you've looked at his channel recently, it's a fucking nightmare. It's a mess, and it's like he's aware of it, but that doesn't make it good. The clickbait, the chasing trends, the having to do the same thing as everyone else. Let's talk about PewDiePie just very briefly. PewDiePie is the #1 most subscribed person on YouTube. And I never really fully understood why, because when I first heard about him, before he became the #1 most subscribed, but he was rising very quickly, I checked him out. And after about 5 minutes of him, I thought I would just love to punch the shit out of this guy. He's so fucking annoying. I did not understand why he was getting the views that he was, but I kind of figured, well, you know what? More power to him. I understood that he's putting on an act and whatnot. And then I spoke to somebody that I know who's also a YouTuber, who has way more subscribers than I do. And I said to her, how did you get so many subscribers? And she said, and in this very embarrassed tone, I might add, Five Nights at Freddy's. I said, I understand. Because there was a time where if you did Five Nights at Freddy's, you were guaranteed loads and loads of views because it was a trend. And this is the only way that anybody could be seen now, is if there's 3 things you have to be successful on YouTube. For one, you have to be a shill, which means that you have to take any brand deals that come your way. You have to pimp yourself out. You have to do whatever the masses want you to do to make money. Now, I've been offered brand deals many, many times, and the only time I ever did one was the Universal Yums video that I did with my sister. And it wound up not working out, even though I enjoyed doing the video and people enjoyed, watching it. The company was looking for a lot of sales from one video, and that's never going to happen. And I've seen a lot of other YouTubers who did the Universal Yums thing, and they never did it again because it's the same thing. They're looking for somebody to put out a video, and that they're going to get a ridiculous amount of sales for it. They don't understand how growth works and how people see it month to month and think, oh, you know what? This seems like a good idea, and they get it, kind of the way that it really kind of does work is when people do unboxings and stuff like that over a period of time, and people start to see it month to month or whatever it is, and they start to get like, you know what, that does seem cool, and then they go and sign up. It's never going to happen the first time, no. So the company didn't really understand that, and their communication with me was very bad. So I just want to let you know that they didn't pay me anything, not a dime for that. The offer was that I would get the boxes for free, and then they cut that off after 1. They didn't even want to go for 2, even though it was supposed to be that they would do it for 2 months, and then they would say, well, let's look at it and see if it's worth it. But they didn't even go for that, and so it was a fun video to do, but that's the thing. So for the one, you have to be a shill, which means you take every offer. I don't take every offer because I talk to people. I've had many companies come to me, and some of them I just don't get it because I've gotten offers from makeup companies, and I'm like, do you even know what I do? And they're like, all they look at is the subscriber count. That's all they look at. They say, this guy has a decent enough amount of subscribers, so we're going to send him whatever offers we can. And when I get offers that, are aimed at college kids or are aimed at women who are into makeup and stuff like that. It's laughable. The last time I got one, it was all about, oh, you could do makeup tutorials if we send you. And I'm like, I'm a guy, Have you ever seen what I look like? I do video game content and like movie reviews and podcasts and shit. This is like, do you even look at a person's channel before? I actually sent them this message. So, and I never got a reply back from them. So, and anytime anybody makes any kind of offer, I do tend to look into it. That doesn't mean I always reply to them, but I decide whether or not it's right for the channel. The Universal Yums thing is something that I normally wouldn't even have done, but I thought it would be a cool way to get my sister involved, and she's an interesting personality, and people like when she's on the channel, and I like doing videos with her. But it just never happened again. It was a fun video, but it never happened again. So that's, the one thing is you have to be a shill. The second thing you need to do to be successful at YouTube is trendy. You have to, if you can't make the trend, if you can't be the one that started the trend, you have to look at what the trend is and do that. And it doesn't matter how much you hate it. PewDiePie started the trend of doing Let's Plays of the Five Nights at Freddy's game. And even he got to the point where he was done with it. And he did not want to do the fourth game, but he had to because people were demanding it. And now when you're in a position like me where you work 2 jobs and YouTube is something that you do in your spare time, and somebody says, I want you to do this, and a lot of people start saying it, I have the option and the luxury of saying I don't want to do that, and therefore I'm not going to do it. And I've had people in the past tell me you would get a lot of views if you did this, if you cared about people you would do this, they've tried everything. And I don't think that content is going to be good if I don't enjoy making it. If I don't enjoy making something, then why would I want to put it on YouTube? So I'm not going to do videos about fidget spinners. I'm not going to do hot swords cutting through Xbox 360. I'm not going to do whatever crazy challenge is going around. Not because I don't like these things or because I'm trying to be nonconformist. It's just that it doesn't fit my channel, and I think it's sad when people resort to these things that they clearly don't want to do because their views are dropping. And everybody's views are going to drop eventually. Even PewDiePie, eventually somebody will take his place. And we've seen it. You got, Ray William Johnson and Niga Higa and Fred and all these people that were once huge on YouTube that are not anymore. Because eventually people are finicky and fickle and they want to move on to something different, And so that's the second thing you need to do to be super successful at YouTube is you have to chase trends. You have to be trendy. So you have to be trendy and you have to be a shill. The third thing that you have to be successful at YouTube is you have to be a personality. Now, that's the one thing out of the 3 that I have is the personality, And it used to be the only thing you needed to be successful on YouTube was to be a personality. And when I say that, I mean not boring. You have to compel people to want to come back. Now, and I mentioned this recently, but I have never in my, I mentioned that I made the account in 2006. I started making videos 3 years later in 2009. And I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about, what inspired me and why I started doing it. But from 2009 till 2017, 8 years on YouTube, I have never asked anyone to subscribe to me. I have never asked anyone to like my videos or rate as it used to be, because it used to be that you could rate videos 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star. I've asked people to comment, but only if I have like a specific thing, like leave a comment about this or tell me what you think about that. But you'll never see me go like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I don't say these things because I've always personally felt that if somebody comes to one of my videos, whether they're finding it randomly or it was recommended or it was linked to them or whatever, if they like what they see and they want to see more of it, then they can hit subscribe. And I trust people to, make that decision on their own. And I always thought, like, when people say, oh, like, comment, subscribe, it really helps me out. If you like the video, please subscribe. That's the point. Of course they know to subscribe. Why do you even say that? But every YouTuber does it. And I'll tell you why. I'm getting to the why in all of this. Why YouTube went downhill in terms of how good it is, really. It kind of grew too big too fast is part of it, but that's not the reason that I'm going to get into, But let me go back to when I first started making videos. I was watching videos on the internet, and I thought that I could do something that wasn't necessarily unique, but that I could put my own unique spin on it, and that I can do it in my way and grow and evolve over time. And, I started doing videos, and this was long before partnership program, and it seems that nobody gets into YouTube just to put up videos anymore. That's the only reason anybody ever got into videos back 2006, 7, 8, 9. When the partnership program came out, the whole thing was you'll make videos on YouTube for a while. Somebody at YouTube will notice you and offer you a partnership. If you accept it, you become a YouTube partner. And then you can put ads on your videos and make money off of it. And this was fine for a while. I did kind of rail against it in a way that I did not want to be a YouTube partner because I saw too many YouTubers that I liked become YouTube partners and then immediately start to whore for views. And I've never done that. I've never whored for views. I've put up videos that I think will get views and don't. I've put up videos that I think will not get views, and then they do. I am very bad at predicting what is and what isn't going to get a lot of views, and I came to the conclusion that it doesn't really matter. I've said from the beginning that if 5 people see my videos or 5 million people see my videos, it's kind of the same to me because I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. And that's always been the case and always will be the case. I wanted to make YouTube videos, and I made a YouTube account. I didn't make it. I made a YouTube account so I could leave comments, but I made it a creator account because I wanted to make YouTube videos, and I enjoyed it, and I started to really get into it. The partnership program, when it was for specific people, was a good idea, but then it became that everybody was a partner. And like I said, I kind of railed against it because, like I said, there were a lot of YouTubers that I watched that suddenly became partners, and all of a sudden their whole demeanor changes, their whole way of going about things changes. All of a sudden they gotta find out what works and what doesn't work, and what doesn't work they just get rid of. And nobody ever puts up a video and doesn't give a shit if nobody sees it. Nobody ever puts up a video just for the fun of it. I started putting up videos because I thought, nobody's going to see this except for like my friends, maybe some randos will come by. And it started to grow over time, and I did get a modest amount of popularity, and I never say to people, oh, I'm a YouTuber and I'm big on YouTube. I say I'm a YouTuber who used to be kind of big on YouTube. And then everybody started doing it. And everybody was a YouTube partner. And everybody was able to monetize their video, and everybody became a shill, and everybody became trendy. And there's nothing unique left. And what really killed it is the idea that YouTube themselves put in people's head that you could make this your job. And then whenever you want to recruit somebody to something, you show them your best success stories. So I used to get a lot of views, And the reason that I got a lot of views is because my videos would occasionally get shown on the main page of YouTube, what is now called the trending part of YouTube. But it used to be called something else. That hasn't happened in a very, very long time. Because when you start to get in bed with advertisers, all of a sudden they have to worry about things like, if somebody doesn't like your videos, you know, all they should really do is not watch them anymore. But then you get these people that say, well, I'm going to boycott the sponsors. And I'll tell you now, I never see my own ads. I have no idea what the ads are for. You know, I see ads on other people's videos. I don't look at the ads on mine. And I tell you, I have no idea who anybody would say. But now YouTube has to worry about things like the adpocalypse. They have to worry about when they start championing their golden boy PewDiePie, and he comes out with his oh so ironic, and that should be in quotes, kill all Jews sign that he said was a joke, or when he says the N-word with a hard R while playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. All of a sudden, this is what causes the adpocalypse, because all of a sudden, all these companies that were like, I'm going to get involved in this YouTube thing, this is huge, there's got to be a way to make money off of it, and they sell their ad spaces to YouTube, and then, you know, this happens. And then they say, maybe I don't want to become involved in this. You know, I think the last really good year for YouTube for ad revenue was 2014. You know, that was 3 years ago. And I remember making a good amount of money in 2014, and then January of 2015 came along, and all of a sudden there was no money. You know, it was very little. And, you know, I always considered the money that I made off of YouTube to be found money. And if you've never heard that expression before, it's found money essentially is like finding a $20 bill on the floor that you don't know who it belongs to, and it just becomes yours. And it's not part of your budget, it's just something extra. But then you have people who actually tried to do this for a living because they hear about PewDiePie buying a mansion and making millions of dollars, and they want that. You know, they think if I could even have 1/10 of that, I could live comfortably. So they quit their jobs to do YouTube full time, which is kind of crazy because I'm a guy who uploads several videos a day and works 2 jobs. So why would you have to quit your job to be a full-time YouTuber? And what that really tells me is you didn't want your job. You didn't want to work. You just want to do something that's fun and have somebody pay you for it. But all of a sudden, once it becomes work, it ain't fun anymore. And you start to see the bitterness creep in. You start to see the complaining. The YouTube glitch hits. And all of a sudden, you get the complaining videos. The adpocalypse happens. And all of a sudden, people are in panic mode. All of a sudden, it's like, if I don't get views up, I might have to go and actually get a real job, you know? And you start to see the desperation. And let me tell you, it's not a good look for a content creator. It's not a good look to be desperate for views. It turns people off. They don't like you anymore. They want somebody that is all successful. They want to support the winner. They don't want to support somebody that's on the way down. They want to support somebody on the way up. That's just human psychology right there. So, you know, when you introduced monetization into YouTube from the top down, where any video can be monetized, but then all of a sudden it has to be, well, if they curse too much, they won't get monetized. We're going to introduce new algorithms where if you curse in a video, it won't get featured on the main page. And then we're going to introduce things where if you curse in a video, maybe we'll put not suitable for all advertisers, and then you get limited or no ads on that video. And I got a bunch of videos like that. And it's whatever, you know. I'm not making anything anyway. I got like a check for $100 like 2-3 times a year. It used to be like $300 a month minimum. But now it's like, you know, $200-300 a year maximum. I don't care. It's found money, you know. Next YouTube check I get, I'm probably going to give it away. I'll be honest with you. It's probably going to go straight to Hitomi. So, it's found money. I'm not making a lot of money on my job, but that's what I'm budgeting off of. That's what I'm paying the bills with. You know, and if it became a thing where I had to do certain things for YouTube, then how am I enjoying it then? You know, if I don't want to do prank videos, but I have to because that's the only thing getting hits, then why am I going to enjoy it? Why do I want to be a YouTuber at that point? Why would anybody want to be a YouTuber at that point? And then you see the light go out in their eyes, and all of a sudden it's, you know, it's not fun for them, it's not fun for their viewers, and all, you know, nobody cares anymore, and they become YouTube zombies. They really do. I've seen it happen so many times, and I tell you, almost every time I hit that unsubscribe button is because somebody's become a YouTube zombie. And I can just see that they are not enjoying it. That they're doing it out of an obligation because they have to pay their bills. And they have put everything into it. They burned their bridges. They quit their jobs. They said, screw you. I'm going to be famous on YouTube. I'm going to be huge. I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to be the next PewDiePie. You think they can go back after being that arrogant and that conceited? Do you think that they can go back to working a regular job? No. They're going to cling to their fake internet fame as much as they can. They're going to go to VidCon and pretend to be a big deal. You know? They're going to do collabs with other YouTubers, not because they enjoy those people and want to work with them, but because those people are getting views. You know? And that's, and like I'm going to talk about McJuggernuggets again. You know, once I see him leeching off of Angry Grandpa, leeching off of Boogie2988, that's the point where it starts to become sad. Because he had a very specific thing that he did. And he can convince himself that people liked it and he got views because of the story of the Psycho series, because they were into stories, because people want, you know, creators, they want stories, you know, that's what he thinks because he talks about this shit all the time. No, it's because people were arguing over whether or not it was real. You know, and I got accused of being a view whore when I did the expose on him, because I did get a lot of views on those videos. And people thought that I'm leeching off of him by exposing him, but I did it because I felt that it was a moral imperative. You think I made any money off of those videos? No, not really. As a matter of fact, if you give me a moment, I'll tell you exactly how much money I made off of it. I'm at YouTube right now, and I'm going to go to analytics, which is my least fun favorite part of YouTube. I don't like the analytics screen because it makes YouTube into math. Not fun. So this can't be right. Top 10 videos. I don't think that's of all time. That's like, these are all recent. God, I can never figure out how to work this because they change it constantly. Give me a moment here, guys. I gotta figure this out. Browse all content. Okay. Search for videos. McJuggernuggets. Whoa, let's try spelling it right. Okay, so here we have it. The one that got the most views was Part 5. For whatever reason, Part 5. I did 6 parts of the McJuggernuggets expose. The least amount of views was on Part 6. That was 3,000 views. I got 58,000 on Part 5. For some reason, Part 5 was insane. So let me tell you, let me bring up Part 5 and tell you how much money was made off of it. Let's see. This is so broken. I don't want last 28 days. I want lifetime. Oh, I hate this shit. I tell you, $0 in the last 28 days at 0 cents. Oh, here it is, lifetime. Okay. So, according to this, on this one video, I made $100. That doesn't mean I actually got $100. It says $105.42. That's like one YouTube check. So let me go to the second most viewed one. God, this is awful. I hate doing this. But I feel like I really have to make this point, you know. Okay, so the second most viewed one was, I think it was part 4. Oh, hold on, I'm looking at last 28 days here. I need lifetime again. Okay, so the second most viewed one is part 1, ironically. Oh, that's watch time in minutes, actually. This shit is so terrible. I can't stand looking at this. But let me just look at part 1, because it's easy to understand. Oh, now it's not telling me anything. I hate this analytics shit. I really do. I hate it so much. All right, here we are. So this one, see, okay, this actually shows a good thing. So the part 1 of the expose, it says estimated revenue, $31.40. What I actually got was $28.48 off of that, and another $2.92 off of YouTube Red, which I don't fuck with that, you know. But there you have it, you know. So yeah, I got a lot of views on these videos, but I didn't, you know, I'm not making a lot of money, and this was all paid, you know. Back when I did it, I got a check for like $150, and that's all I got, you know. And then it's over. And I did that because I did the expose because I felt it needed to be done, you know. And then I stopped doing it because he exposed himself and showed that it was all fake. And people asked me to continue it because they enjoyed it. And I could have continued it and still gotten views off of it and gotten more money. But like I said, I didn't make much money off of it to begin with. And I tell you what, guys, I didn't enjoy making it. I did it. I felt that at the time that it was a moral imperative to do that, because I thought this guy is killing YouTube. But what it really was monetization, because McJuggernuggets is a guy that decided that YouTube was going to be his career, his job, and that he was going to do anything and everything he could to make money off of it. He wanted a YouTube empire, and boy did he get it. And now it's kind of crumbling, and the desperation has set in. And when the desperation sets in, you can look at the comment section to see the jackals and the buzzards circling around and coming in and saying, haha, your channel's dead, fuck you. You know, and it's constant. Like, you can go to any McJuggernuggets video recently and look at his comments, and all you'll see is comment after comment after comment saying, this channel's dead, this channel's dead. And I wonder, why are these people even there then if it's dead? Why are you watching? Why are you even commenting? And the reason is because they're jackals and buzzards. They really are. They're looking for carry-on. People don't only want to watch you go down, but they want to taunt you on the way down. And the reason that people hate him so much now, and so many other YouTubers are hated so much, is because they're whores. They do anything for money. And that's not what this platform was created for. It was supposed to be about creativity and freedom. And now it's stifled by monetization. You have to worry about... I'll tell you one YouTuber that I respect is Blasphemous HD. This guy does reaction videos. He's very funny. I enjoy his content. And every once in a while he'll say something and then he'll go, oh, well, this just got demonetized. And he uploads it anyway, and he'll get millions of views, and he's going to get like no money off it because he knows that he said fuck shit or whatever kind of, you know, supposedly controversial thing, and that, you know, everything he says is getting demonetized, even when he doesn't curse that much because people are probably reporting him or whatever. But he still uploads videos. He's still doing it, and he seems to be enjoying it, and I enjoy watching him. You know, I don't watch every video the guy puts out, but you know, that's just one example of someone I actually do respect. But yeah, Tyrone Magnus, there's a guy that does it. He just hit 1 million subscribers, which, you know, good for him. And he does a lot of videos that are, you know, he does reactions and stuff. This is not his livelihood. He's making money, but he's not banking. He's not putting all his eggs into the YouTube basket. The guy does voice acting and all sorts of stuff. He has a job, you know. If you're looking at somebody on YouTube and they say this is their job, no, it's not. I'm sorry. All it is a hobby that is temporarily making you money. And one day it's all going to go away, because you know what? We had one adpocalypse already. And now we have all these restrictions that if I say fuck or cock or me crob, this video right here is either going to get demonetized or it's going to be limited ads. And I don't give a fuck. I'll put the ads on it and maybe I get like a couple of cents. Whatever. Maybe eventually it adds up and I get a check for $100 and I can give some money to Hitomi. But it's never been about money. I don't give a fuck about making money on YouTube. And if you are trying to make money off of YouTube, then get off of YouTube, please. You know, the money should be a nice bonus for doing well. It shouldn't be your entire motivation. I don't want to watch somebody who's doing this because they have to. That would like essentially be like, I'm going to go to McDonald's and sit there and watch people take orders and make hamburgers. Do I want to see people just doing their jobs? Not really. Not really. So, you know, I think that like there's a large variety of reasons why YouTube has become so unsatisfying. Why it's become so stifling. But the biggest thing that ever happened was monetization. When everybody becomes a partner, it's not special. And when partners decide that they're going to do this and that's the only thing they're going to do, they're not going to have jobs, they're just going to do videos. And then they realize that just because they got 1 million views yesterday doesn't mean they're going to get 1 million views tomorrow. And it could all go away. And let me tell you something about the partnerships. I mean, and I never, you know, people ask me what my network is. There's no network. I'm partnered directly with YouTube. And the multi-channel networks are the biggest fucking scam in the universe. They claim, well, we can give you more money per click than YouTube can. Okay, that's all well and good. They say they can. Does that mean they will? No. And I've read their contracts because I've been offered multi-channel networks ever since that existed. I still, to this day, get partnership offers about once a week from a multi-channel network. And I've gotten to the point where I ignore them. I used to look into them. I even had one that seemed kind of promising. I got them to send me the contract. I showed it to a lawyer. You know, they gave me their thoughts, and I thought about it a lot, and I eventually decided not to do it because what it basically came down to is when you enter into these contracts with these networks, you are obligated to do this, that, and the other, and they're not obligated to do anything for you. They say, oh, we can promote you, and we can get you better ads, and we can get you, you know, ads that more fit what you're doing. Like if you're doing a gaming channel, you might get gaming trailers, things that people are more likely to click on or watch the entirety of without, you know, clicking off of it, you know, hitting that skip button. They're not contractually obligated to actually do that. You're contractually obligated to please them, but they don't have to do anything for you. And that's basically what it comes down to. And I've seen too many people say they're going to start a channel and they align themselves with the network, and then they find out that it's not what it was all cracked up to be. And then guess what? They're in a contract. They can't get out of it. So then if they want to do videos on their own, or if they want to align with a different network, or they just want to use Google AdSense or whatever, now they have to make a new channel, you know, because they're locked into that contract. So if you sign something like that, I think you're a sucker. You know, I think you're a sucker. I used to take it seriously and seriously consider them, but they're all the same. I have yet to see one that is decent. And that just like I said, I have a friend who's a YouTuber who has a lot more subscribers than me, and she always worries, like when I get demonetized or for saying fuck or cock, it's like, okay, whatever, that I won't make 5 cents on that video. When she gets it, she has to worry about, oh my god, I can get fired, I could lose my contract, and I'm just like, whatever, like it's not your job, but this is how they suckered you in. They show you the success stories. They show you the PewDiePies. They show you the people who bought mansions. And they say, look at all these great content creators who made lots and lots of ridiculous amounts of monies doing just, Let's Plays or blogs or whatever the fuck. And then you think you can do it. And the truth is you can't, because a lot of these guys, PewDiePie, lightning in a bottle, he somehow... And that's another thing. There's actually 4 things you need to be successful on YouTube. The 4th one is a more recent thing. I just realized this. You have to appeal to children. If you're not appealing to children, you're not making any money. And this, and as somebody who personally always intended his videos to be viewed by people around his age, i.e. me, that's like, I've gotten younger viewers. I have. And that's fine. But I'm not going to cater to them, because I'm doing the videos for me and people like me. And if you're listening to this, if you're still listening to this about an hour and 6 minutes and 30 seconds into this video, and you're still listening, then you're a person like me, and you probably agree with me. Or maybe you don't agree with me and you want to tell me about it in the comments, and that's fine. But I personally think that the worst thing to ever happen to YouTube is monetization. And yes, I've gotten some money, here and there. It used to be fairly regular. It went from being $100 a month to being $200 a month to being $400 a month. And then it went down to $100 a month again. And then it went down to, I couldn't make the $100 a month threshold. And then it was $100 every other month. And then it became $100 once in a while. And you know what? Do you see me quitting? Do you see me trying out? When I try out new things, it's because I want to try a new thing. Do you see me chasing trends and being a shill? No. And the reason is because I never invested myself in it to the degree where I have to do that. And the fact that people have invested themselves in YouTube, but that they've tried to make a career out of it, is ridiculous. And I wish I could go back in time and tell all these people it could all go away. YouTube could decide that they're not going to do it anymore. Because you know what? YouTube were the ones that decided to put ads on the videos. Okay? The partnership program was a way of sharing some of the ad revenue with their partners. You know what happens when a video gets demonetized, but there's still ads on it? It means that YouTube takes all of the money. Okay? So you think, well, they're saying it's not suitable for advertisers, so they're going to demonetize it. Sometimes they take the ads off it, but a lot of times they just keep the money. They say, well, or if you have a community guideline strike or whatever, or or if some company decides that the video game you're playing is what they made, and therefore that they made that footage, which is not true. They made the video game. They did not make the footage. It's a derivative work, but they're going to put ads on it. So, really what it came down to is once people figured out that you could make money off of YouTube, it became a corporate thing. And all of a sudden, big ad revenue, big advertisers came down. Big companies are like, how can we make money off of this YouTube thing? And it ruined it, in my opinion. And yeah, I still watch a shit ton of YouTube, and I'm not going to stop watching YouTube. But it doesn't have the magic that it once had, and it probably never will again, because nobody is doing it for fun anymore. And at that point, it's like I don't know. It's sort of the same thing that applies to sports, man. It's like people like to watch sports. There's no doubt about that. But nobody wants to see a guy who's only in it for the money. Like everybody hates a guy like what's the example I'm looking for? Like LeBron James is very hated because he went from Cleveland to elsewhere. And it's not so much because he left the team, it's because he was clearly doing it for the money, and all of a sudden he got a lot of hate. And it's because we thought you were great and you were doing it because you were good at it and you liked it, and now we know that you just want to make a lot of money, you know. And people are kind of getting wise. This used to be a thing, you know, for all of our history. The gladiators in ancient Rome had sponsorship deals. Okay? As a matter of fact, in the movie Gladiator, there was going to be a thing where the main character was going to be sponsored by somebody who made olive oil. And they decided that even though that was historically accurate, people would think, oh, that's bullshit. That didn't happen, you know. So they took it out of the movie. They took it out of the script. You know, it's been a thing forever, but people want to believe that even if you're making a lot of money, you're doing it for the love of it. And that's, and I've talked about the definition of professional and the definition of amateur in the past. An amateur, a lot of times, is thrown around as an insult, like, oh, you're just an amateur. And all amateur means is that you don't get paid for it, or that it's not your job, rather. And it used to be an honorific almost. It was, when you were called an amateur, it was a mark of respect that you did something because you love to do it. You know, an amateur scientist was somebody who just loved science, you know. And they dedicated their lives to it because they wanted to. So, you know, when you have a such thing as professional YouTubers, you know, that's a mess. I even saw somebody on YouTube once who was talking about the definition of YouTuber, and they said they don't consider someone a YouTuber just because they do videos. You have to go to VidCon and have like 1 million views, and you have to be involved with it, and you know, basically they were saying if you didn't go to VidCon and you don't have a multi-channel network, you know, then and you're not a high-ranking partner, then you're not a YouTuber. I don't consider a YouTuber. Let me tell you, right there, that was one of the few times that I couldn't hit the unsubscribe button fast enough. I was like, wow, what a shithead. To me, a YouTuber is somebody that puts YouTube videos up on a regular basis. So that being said, I've prattled on long enough. I think it's an important discussion. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it, guys. I really do. I'm not going to ask you to like the video, and I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, but I will ask you to comment, not because it helps me out, not because it gives the video a bump, but because I want to hear your thoughts. Damn it. So I'll see you guys next week. Oh, that's almost forgot. Next week, we're doing the stream. I'll probably make another separate video to remind you guys, but there will be a stream Saturday night, Saturday evening into the night, Saturday, October the 14th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/NecroVMX. Be there and be square, because we're all a bunch of geeks and nerds anyway. Y'all gonna have a bunch of fun. The last stream was the best stream ever, and it seems that everyone is better than the last, and I really have a lot of fun doing it, and it seems that people are having a lot of fun being at the streams, so please come to the stream and have some fun with us. I'll see you guys real soon with more content. NecroVMX out.